Good morning. We again are entering into this conversation that Jesus is having with the teachers of the law after he's healed this man, told him to pick up his mat. They're questioning Jesus in terms of why did you heal him on the Sabbath and why did you tell him to work on the Sabbath? The law says not to work by picking up your mat, that kind of stuff. Long conversation, and Jesus talks about the Father. He only does what the Father's doing. And then he begins to shift gears and says that the Father has given him the ability to judge what is right. So it says, for the Father has given life in himself, verse 26, so he's granted the Son also to have life, and he's given him authority to judge because he's the Son of Man. Do not be amazed at this, for a time is coming when all who are in their graves will hear his voice and come out. Those who have done what is good, will rise to live, and those who have done what is evil will rise to be condemned. By myself I can do nothing. I judge only as I hear, and my judgment is just, for I seek not to please myself, but him who sent me. Okay. Really interesting territory here. As good Protestants, and those of us who are raised kind of in the evangelical tribe of Protestantism, right? We've learned that works are, you're not saved by works. This is the great reformer, Martin Luther, and so we take on this. We're saved by faith, by grace through faith alone. That's how we're saved. We're just quoting Paul here. We can't add anything to what Jesus did, and of course that's right. But there's a fundamental misunderstanding here of what works are that we have to get right, because Jesus speaks kind of an interesting word here. When he condemns those who are trying to be saved through works of the law, that's the phrase that we have to get right. He is actually condemning a worldview in which there were people in his day who were claiming that until a majority of people really followed the law to the T, right, then God would not act by sending Messiah. And so the Pharisees and others literally were like the moral police in culture, and had built up in this mind that really salvation was connected to perfection of the articulation of the law to the nth degree. And Jesus had to shift the conversation, and Paul takes this further, and no, it's really about placing your confidence in Jesus. But of course we can get that wrong as well. James brings this corrective word, faith without works is dead. And so here we hear Jesus basically saying this, I'm going to judge, and the way I judge is those who have done what is good will rise to live, and those who have done what is evil will be condemned. Wait, what, Jesus? It's not about faith in you. This is about goodness versus evil. And here we have to just kind of thread the needle. We remember that Jesus says a good tree bears good fruit. A bad tree bears bad fruit. You can tell a tree by its fruit. We also have to get back to the strategy of what Jesus did. He wanted to reform the life of the human from the inside out, starting with the heart and then working its way out. The Pharisees did just the opposite. Let's button up the outward behavior to trigger God's action in the world. No, Jesus says, no, we're going to start with the heart. We're going to teach the heart to love the right sorts of things and to move towards virtue and goodness naturally because they feel beckoned by God. Love of God leads to love of neighbor. And so we can think then that Jesus' expectation is once the heart is formed, well, trust God, lets go of its brokenness, is healed, reconciled, moves out into a different posture, it's going to yield good fruit. Here I think we want to just say that we want to invite God to reshape our hearts towards honesty and humility and care and concern and sacrifice and empathy, so that we naturally move into the world and do the things the Father is doing naturally, not to curry favor, not to get brownie points, but simply it's the natural outflow, the byproduct of life where we've trusted and loved Jesus. That's a thought for today. Grace and peace to you.